Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. I am actually about to put on some Root and Scalp Butter for the family. It's something I've been putting off as far as they're concerned. And it's like every time I'm like, okay, I'm going to save you a little, I make for customers, and lo and behold, as fast as I'm turning them out, they're practically running out of the door. So today I'm spending my Sunday, like I said, putting together some Root and Scalp Butter for the family. And what I want to talk about is, basically my process. I have a dedicated work area in my kitchen. One day I'm actually going to have a dedicated, one day soon, I should say. It's not going to be forever. One day soon I'm going to have a dedicated work area in my storefront. But for today, this works for me because everything that I need is in one spot. I keep everything where I can get to it. And that's one thing that as product makers, you want to make sure that your process is not so overwhelming that it gets to the point where it's not even conducive to you to do business because it takes so much out of you to do that. So I keep everything that I need close to me. I make sure that before I get started that my work area is always sanitized. I make sure that all the equipment I'm going to need, like my scales and my utensils, my whisk, since like today I'm doing Root and Scalp Butter and I do whip that when I do it. I make sure that I have all of those things right there. I've got my calculator in case I need to make any quick calculations, even though once you've done certain things for so long, all you need is your scale. Because you pretty much know what goes into it. Now, my scale is something that I don't do without. I know sometimes I'll see on videos where people are just starting out in product making, and they'll be in there and they'll be doing products and stuff by volume. And I don't work by volume, I work by weight, because I know that every 6 ounces of something is not the same 6 ounces of something else. So I always make sure that I'm measuring out correctly, because you could make grave mistakes, especially if you're doing something like soap making and you decide that you want to say substitute sunflower oil for coconut oil. You could end up having a lye heavy soap because you did not measure correctly. You went by volume versus the weight of it, and not even taking into account the what's called the SAP value of it. Of course there are lye calculators and stuff online where you can just type your stuff in, but we're not here talking about soap making today. Like I said, I'm actually putting together my butters. So now that I've actually got the butters into the bowl that I wanted to put them in, I'm going to put them on the stove and let them start to melt. And I always do like the most gentle melt that I can do when it comes to my butters. I melt them to, just to the point where they're pretty much melted, where I can take and stir the rest of what's left. And that way they don't get a lot of heat to them. The oils, I really try to stay away from any heat to them at all. And I do that not just for when I'm doing something for a customer, but when I'm doing it for my household as well, because that matters. Right now, you notice I don't have on a hairnet or gloves. When I'm doing something for my own family, I don't always get all decked out. Unless I'm making soap, I am going to put on some gloves and some goggles, when I'm dealing with the lye. But when it comes to just doing something for my family, I think we're pretty good around here. We understand. I have yet to get a hair or anything into their stuff, but not to say that can't happen, but I don't take that chance when it comes to customers. That's a totally different thing. So I am going to continue putting that together. Those are just a few things that I wanted to go over, because I know sometimes I've had, in conversations, I've had people who are doing business and, they want to know, well, what do you use and what do you do? Oh, and another thing, I know someone had asked me about what I use for sanitizing. Do I order like things from a certain company? And I just use regular 91% alcohol. I make sure that everything is clean. And I use the alcohol to sanitize it before I get ready to use it. That, and, even my countertops and stuff, I spray all of that with 91% alcohol prior to me getting started, because I want my stuff to be, as sanitary as possible, because that works for me. I don't believe in, no, I can't do it. I can't just come into a kitchen and just start working. My children know that. You know, if I get up in the morning and I come in and the kitchen doesn't look the way it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be like a weekend or whatever where they can sleep in, guess who's fixing to get up out of bed? That's right, every last one of them. Not just one, because I don't have time to be deciding who it is that destroyed my kitchen or left my kitchen in such disarray. So that means everybody is about to get called to task. So that's one of the things that I have for people when they were asking, you know, about, you know, what do you do as far as your kitchen goes, and, you know, and being able to work in the kitchen. Like I said, I dedicate an entire area to the kitchen, to my business, and everybody knows that whatever's on this side of the counter is things that are for my business. So that means don't come in here messing with anything, because if you mess with things, I'm going to get upset. You know, when I finish with this Root and Scalp Butter, I think I'm going to move on and put together see, I'm grabbing the wrong thing. I needed avocado oil. Ooh, bottle almost out. See, that's why you've always got to have another bottle of whatever you need on hand real quick. That way you don't have to go running downstairs to get it. But when it comes to, you know, having everything you need in reach, I mean, it can't be beat to have you a good workstation where you can get everything done in you know, in record time and get on to the next thing. Because when you've got more than one order coming in, you know, you don't have time to dilly-dally and, you know, play with one and, like, you know, when I get to this one, you know, I'll get to it and stuff like that. When you're doing business, you're doing business, and people want their products, you know, in good time. I mean, they paid you in good time. They probably paid you immediately. So the last thing you want to do is keep them waiting on what it is they're waiting on. And I'm talking slowly here because I don't want to mismeasure here and get too much oil, too much of one oil in here that I don't need. See, that's, and again, like I said, that's how a scale comes in handy. Love my scale, boy. I don't know what I would do without my scale. So that is all I have. This is Sunday. Like I said, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to move on to a batch of lotion, spearmint tea tree. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm wearing as my, you know, my deodorant right now, the No BS spearmint and tea tree. So I'm going to make a complimentary spearmint and tea tree batch of lotion, and they better be okay with that, you know, because, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, well, we want fruit. Like the last one, they tricked me into doing this peach lemonade one, you know, and it was fine. It was cool. I like the smell of it and stuff, but it's time for my spearmint and tea tree. You know, I don't always treat myself. I usually always end up treating other people and doing the things that they want and stuff, but that one is going to be for me. So once I finish this Root and Scalp Butter, it's on to the next chapter. Have a good Sunday.